Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. We are once again here, inshallah, for another akhlaq class. This is our 8th class. We start the class with Du'a al-Faraj for the Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, Ajallah Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif, the hastening of reappearance of the Imam, Salamullah alayhi, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا يا رب الحسين بحق الحسين اشف صدر الحسين بظهور الحجة. It is 7:43 in Sydney, Australia. I hope you are all doing good. It's a very cold morning here. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We are days with the holy month of Ramadan. Fasting these days, inshallah, all of you, and supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praying. This is our 8th class in ethics and etiquettes of Islam. We have covered so far many topics, and inshallah today, inshallah, a new topic as well. We spoke, if you remember, on our first class about weaknesses and strong points. We do have weaknesses, every human being does, and there are, of course, strong points that we have. If we have strong points, we have strong characteristics, we can work on them, make them stronger, improve them. And of course, if we have weaknesses, and we all do, we have weaknesses, we must sit down and see how we can resolve these issues that we have. There are many things that come to mind. Everyone has a problem in definitely different issues. As we spoke about in our first classes, we spoke about anger and anger management. Some people, they are angry. We spoke about shukr in 2 parts and the importance of shukr. The importance of shukr is so important that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Allah refers to shukr in the Quran Kareem, on the opposite side of shukr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that if you don't thank me in the right way, what are you doing here? You are, the opposite of shukr is kufr. So akhlaq, ethics and etiquette in Islam is very important. When a person has good akhlaq, he's more approachable than a person who doesn't have good akhlaq. And that is the issue that is raised, that we must think realistically, and we must see of the issues that we have individually, and sit down and think for a moment, all right, I do have these issues that I might consider working on. And this is one of the blessings of this time with COVID-19 and Shahr Ramadan al-Mubarak coming together, that because of many of us in lockdown, we sit down for a moment and we think, okay, I have these issues, let me work on them. And so on and so forth. We can sit down and we can have a look at the issues that we have. There were many people that I came across when they entered this quarantine, this lockdown, and there was not much to do outside, and we still are in lockdown in many countries. They gave themselves a whole list of things they want to cover. One of them was, I want to learn a new language. Some of them had the idea that I want to watch a couple of documentaries. So knowledge-wise, I want to improve myself. I want to get somewhere. that before this lockdown I wasn't in that position, and now I want to get to in that position. So new language is one of the things. Um, Having a pen and paper and writing down our weaknesses, uh, typing it, even typing it is fine, and working on them. One of the weaknesses that many individuals have and problems that rises is this today that we want to speak about, is this topic today, and that is a disease of the soul. We do have two things. We have the disease of the physical body, and we have the disease of the soul. And if you look at different types of sickness and illness and diseases of the uh, human physical body, you find that, all right, there are remedies. There are prescription drugs that we can a person take and get better. But greater than that, is that the disease of the soul. The disease of the soul is so bad that it goes on to a part that destroys a human being. And with that human being knowing or taking into account that this is a disease that I have to, address it and work on it. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. So the disease of the soul is greater than the disease of the physical body, and it spreads out and covers the whole soul to the point that destroys the person's life, destroys his religion, and makes him from a person who is a mu'mina, to a person who fights Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of them is this today. Before we start, we recite Dua al-Faraj in the beginning of the class, beginning of the topic, inshallah, and then we dive into the first series that I want to cover, inshallah, in our lessons of the disease of the soul. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا يا رب الحسين بحق الحسين اشف صدر الحسين وظهور الحجة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم ولعن أعداءهم أجمعين. So disease of the soul, number one from this series I want to cover today is jealousy, al-hasad. Jealousy, al-hasad. This is the first one that we want to cover. And if you see, we have diseases of the soul. So it's not just one or two. There are, unfortunately, sadly, there are more than two, more than three, that can destroy a human being's life and get him, in a life of agony, in a life of torment, if is not addressed properly and is not taken away. For example, jealousy itself, it starts with a spark and then it can grow and grow and grow. And today, inshallah, we speak about how badly it can affect a human being's life. So in your book, Akhlaq wal-Adab al-Islamiyya, it is topic 32. 32, Al-Hasad. الحاسد هو الذي يتمنى زوال النعمة عن صاحبها وإن لم يردها لنفسه. So this is what hasad is. Hasad is that jealousy that you see someone possessing some, let's say some wealth or some health or some children. The problem with hasad is that you don't want that person to have that. So if that is wealth, you wish for them to, not having that ni'mah, that wealth, is taken away from them. هو الذي يتمنى زوال النعمة عن صاحبها وإن لم يردها لنفسه. والحسد مذموم ويدعو الإنسان إلى الحقد والبغض والكره. So hasad, it's a key to many other evil, or you can call them demonized factors. That one is حقد, hatred, بغض, hatred, and كره. That you start with hasad comes to the point that you hate the other person. والحسد من الأمراض العظيمة للقلوب. Hasad, jealousy, is one of the diseases of the heart. ولا يداوي أمراض القلب إلا بالعلم والعمل. And you cannot address it and you cannot fix that problem of your heart, that disease of the heart, except with علم, knowledge, and عمل, and action. وذلك بأن تعلم حقيقة الحسد وضرره على الإنسان في الدنيا والآخرة. So you know the reality of hasad, of jealousy, of how bad this is, and you know the ضرر, the problem that it causes, the bad impact that it has on a person's life in this world, في الدنيا وفي الآخرة. وأن المحسود لا ضرر عليه بل يستفيد من ذلك بأن يحصل على الثواب. محسود is the person you are jealous on. That he is the second victim. Second victim. Actually, you are the first victim because the jealous person, the envious person, he is the first victim. He's burning, and we're going to speak about that in a moment. He's burning from inside. And the second victim, if he's harmed, the second victim, well, here he is not taking any, any ضرر, any damages. Actually, he's getting into good benefits. He's getting more good benefits, because when you are becoming jealous, envious of the other person, he's getting rewards. Just imagine, I'll give you an example. If a person becomes jealous of another individual, it accelerates. It starts from a point, it's from the heart, from the mind. The envious person, he starts to think, why does he have this? Why does he have this? Why I don't have it? It's just that why he has it, he possesses that, but I don't. And then it accelerates, it goes to another step, it goes to the step of ghiba, backbiting. And then it goes to a step of kadhib, lies. And then it goes to a step of buhtan. So what here happens is, the other person, he's sitting at home, he's living his life, he has no idea that you are jealous of him. And what you're doing is, you're just giving him more hasanat, more good deeds, because you are backbiting him. And when you are backbiting him, you give him hasanat. And that is the reality of it. So the first victim of this is yourself, because what you're doing here is you are destroying your dunya and your akhirah. You are so consumed by jealousy that you have left everything else on the side, and you have taken jealousy into account, and you forgot what's happening in your surroundings. You are focusing on one particular place that is not right. And what happens here there is that you're not taking a necessary step to make this positive, but you made it negative. Positive is ghibta. Ghibta is that you don't have the first line. You see the first line? هو الذي يتمنى زوال النعمة. This is not ghibta. Ghibta is that you say, may Allah increase his substance, may Allah increase his ni'mah, his ilm, his mal, and may Allah give some to me. Allah akramul akramin. You don't have that deathly wish on the other person. So we have hasad and we have ghibta, and inshallah we cover that in the next lesson. So وأن المحسود لا ضرر عليه بل يستفيد من ذلك بأن يحصل على الثواب. ويجب أن يعرف الحاسد أن ما عنده وعند غيره هو من قضاء الله وقدره. And that is the important part of it, that Allah willed it for you to have this. قضاء الله وقدره. Allah wants you to have that much of wealth. Allah wants you to have that many of children. You have maybe 5 children, others have, 8 children. For example, Allah wants you to have a granny flat and the other person to have a mansion. Allah wants you to have a small Camry 2005 model car and the other person to have the brand new state-of-the-art, machinery. But Allah willed it. Allah wants for one person to be wealthy and another person to be, average or maybe living a life of poverty. It's Allah will. قضاء الله وقدره. So when you come and you say, why does he have it? I don't possess it. I don't have it. Well, work on the part that you can have it. May Allah increase his wealth, his sustenance, and may Allah give me some more. This is the good wishing part. But the one that we're speaking about now is that you are wishing ill on the other person. That is the grave one. That is a problem. That is the one that is a disease. And you are here questioning Allah's will, number one. You're saying, why did Allah give him and not me? Look at him. What kind of life is this guy is living? How could he have that much and I don't have any, not even one or 2 of it? And he has 10 or 20. He doesn't know how to act in a certain place. And I know how to do it, but Allah hasn't given it to me. So you are questioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Well, you are questioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's qada and qadar. وأن الحسد لا يورث إلا التألم والعذاب والهم والغم بلا مقابل ولا فائدة. So what happens with jealousy? Jealousy brings to the other person what? تألم والعذاب والهم والغم بلا مقابل ولا فائدة. ولا فائدة. So now we're going to cover this, of course. So the definition of it, jealousy or envy is a negative trait in human beings. A jealous person always envies others who are happy and comfortable. So when he sees someone happy and comfortable, he or she, in this individual, this person, they can't see that happening. They can't see the other person happy. They can't see the other person comfortable. And that is one of the beauties of this holy month of Ramadan, that when we are fasting, we can focus not only on the food and the what we drink in the beverages and all those things. We can focus on our problems and our mistakes. And that is one of them, that if we have that, feeling when the other person is happy, we don't feel good, we must know this is a problem. We might be an envious person. When he finds something good and attractive with others, he wishes that they lost the thing. They lost the thing. And that's why I underlined it here and I made it red, because they want them not to have it. Generally, such a jealous person is neither capable of snatching away the good thing from the other person, nor harm them or harm him in any way. He continues to sulk and brood. He will be burning in flames of jealousy day and night. So he's burning. He can't take it. And he's burning from within and he's destroying himself. An envious person is devoid of the pleasures and comforts of the world and the feeling of deprivation, and the thought of the amenities enjoyed by others makes his own life miserable because he's not content. When he's not content, he doesn't have qana'ah, it's called qana'ah, he cannot see others having it. He cannot see others having a wealth. He cannot see others having health. He cannot see others having children, so on and so forth. So he's burning from within. That is why Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam said, envy destroys faith in the way fire destroys the fuel. So this is a beautiful hadith of Imam al-Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam. So jealousy in the Holy Book, Allah mentions jealousy in the Holy Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أم يحسدون الناس على ما آتاهم الله من فضله. Or do they envy people for what Allah has given them of His bounty? So as we said, they're not happy with the other person having this. So Allah gave the other person what they possess. من على ما آتاهم الله من فضله. The bounties were given by Allah the Almighty. So you are questioning Allah's will. You are saying, why did Allah give him and not me? Why did Allah give her and not me? And that is a problem, brothers and sisters, and I want to address that. In the olden age, when a person saw the other person having or possessing a new, for example, vehicle, it was the talk of the neighborhood, the talk of the village, the talk of the city, the talk of the family. But unfortunately today, with what we have of social media and the access that we have to many, sort of things that are easier for us to, be in connect with one another, socializing with one another, it spreads out more. If someone today goes to, inshallah, everything goes back to normal, he wants to go vacationing in any country, for example, in Hawaii, by a press of button on their phones, they show the world where we went. That is a problem there. Why? Number one, you're sharing more than anyone's asking for. No one needs to know that you are going into which hotel, drinking what, eating what. But today, it's a trending thing, isn't it? That we have to share every part of our daily lives. I'm having shy now. We just had iftar, mashallah. Who made what? We're about to go to this place to have some ice cream. We're about to go to this hotel. We're about to go scuba diving, skydiving, whatever it is. We like to share. We love to share. Why? Because we want others to look at our life and say, wow, look at these guys. They're having the best time of their lives. On the other end of the phone, we don't consider for a moment that the other person who's looking at this, are they in a position to have a look at this? Maybe they're going through a tough time. And for them to see that I am going through happiness, comfort, enjoying myself, and I am, vacationing from city to city, from country to country, it's not going to be in my best interest for them to have a look at this. And that is the part that jealousy now, in this time and age, it's a disease that is more spread out, and not many people address it. If you look, for example, COVID-19, it's a disease, isn't it? Coronavirus, it's a virus. And when it spreads out through countries, they take necessary measures to take a hold on it, okay? But jealousy, we don't look at it as being a disease. We just say, okay, I'm not happy with this person having this. It's very normal now. We had normalized it to this point that we don't see this as a problem, but it is a big problem. We are questioning Allah as well. We are burning from within, and this accelerates to other parts that we will cover now. We have another ayah that says, وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ, and from the evil of the envier when he envies. Jealousy in the hadith, min sifat al-hasid, is some of the characteristics of the jealous person, is that what Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam referred to this in this hadith. Al-hasid yafrahu bil-shar wa yaghtammu bis-surur. Happy when tragedy strikes and sad when happiness strikes. A jealous person is this: when he sees the other person happy and comfortable, he's very, sad from within. That's what the Imam said. Yafrahu bil-shar. If he sees the other person is struck with tragedies, he's losing his business, he lost his child, nastajiru billah, becomes to this point, brothers and sisters, that He's so jealous if he sees his brother having a new child or having a new house. He's not happy. He is, in a dark moment. As why is he having this? But it becomes so problematic that when he sees the other person, losing a child, from within, he's happy. That's how bad this disease is. Even his own brother, his own neighborhood, his own neighbor, his own family members, he sees them having something they are happy with, he's not happy with it. And he sees the other person not having it, they strike with tragedies, he can't see others happy. He can't see them happy. So what do we do with this? This is a big, big problem. This is a hadith from Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib al-Hasib, يفرح بالشر ويقتم بالسرور. So, نتائج الحسد, the consequences of jealousy, the deadly seven. Here I have listed for the brothers and sisters 7 that are deadly. 7, I want to address them, that are also listed in the book أخلاق والآداب الإسلامية. These are the 7 that are the results and the consequences of a jealous person. عذاب وحسرة وتألم للإنسان نفسه. Inshallah, we cover them individually one by one. مرض الحسد، شقاء في الدنيا والآخرة، انخفاض المنزلة وانحطاط المرتبة ونفور الناس من الحاسد، الضرر للنفس، الحزن والهم، ذهاب حسناته وغضب الله عليه. I will post this inshallah on the Telegram page. They can see there are 7 deadly consequences to the hasid, to the jealous person, to the envious. That these are problems and they are deadly and there are consequences. For example, عذاب وحسرة وتألم للإنسان نفسه. He's in a torment. He's and he or she, they are living a life of torment. They are so infused by it that they are destroying themselves. مرض الحسد. Hasad is what we refer to as a disease. شقاء في الدنيا والآخرة. And انخفاض المنزلة وانحطاط المرتبة ونفور الناس من الحاسد. الضرر للنفس، الحزن والهم، وذهاب حسناته وغضب الله عليه. Okay, number 1, عذاب وحسرة وتألم للإنسان نفسه. قال أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام: الحسد أحد العذابين. الحسد أحد العذابين. Jealousy is a torment for the one who has it. How could this be torment? In many ways. Number 1, his own victim. He has left everything on the side. She's not enjoying the fruits of life that they have, they possess, and they're just looking at others. And nowadays, looking at their phone and going right and left. Where do they go? What do they eat? And they spend, numerous amounts of time looking at what others are doing. And here, he has occupied himself and he's so much consumed by this, they are in a torment. They are forgetting about their own lives. They are not enjoying their own lives. They're just looking at others. And they have this, feeling at how can I destroy the other person's life and take away what he has. And this is one of them. عذاب وحسرة وتألم للإنسان نفسه. نستجير بالله. God forbid if a person has this problem, this disease, it must be addressed from day 1. عذاب وحسرة وتألم للإنسان نفسه. Number 2, مرض الحسد. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Talib alayhi salatu wasalam says, Al-Hasad yudhibul jasad. Jealousy is a disease to a point that what happens to a person's physical body, they destroy themselves. Now I'll give you an example, brothers and sisters. Unfortunately, this is widespread with the youth, with the teenagers. When it comes to for women, for the girls, she sees a celebrity being what? Being, physically fit and attractive. She comes to a point, she starts to go into phases of hunger and torment and, blaming herself, her family, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that why I don't look like this celebrity. And if you look at it, this is a reality now, that the teenagers that are so consumed by this, when they see one picture of a celebrity, and that picture is not real, that piece of, post that this so-called celebrity has posted online is not real. It's not just, by snap of a finger, she became this woman. She went through hours and hours of working on herself, makeup and so on and so forth, until she became this attractive woman. But when a teenager sits down and she looks at this picture, she thinks to herself, why I'm not like that? That's why the Imam says, Al-Hasad yudhibul jasad. She sees her friend having something, so the jasad, the physical body, goes through torments. It goes through, phases of being hit on the head with. And they go into this phase, one by one, destroys the physical body as well. It's not just the mental side of it, the mentally ill. It's also physically ill. That because I see the other person, physically fit, I have to go into detoxation, for example. And this is unfortunate. This is the reality of life, or what's happening now, that I'm prepared to hunger myself just to become fit like this person. And I don't look at the reality of this, that this person went through, operations upon operations to look in a certain way. So al-hasad, jealousy, yudhibul jasad. Yudhibul jasad. And this is a beautiful hadith from Imam Ali ibn Talib alayhi salatu wassalam once again. Shaqa fi dunya wal akhirah. Shaqa fi dunya wal akhirah. So what does shaqa mean? Shaqa means misery. They're miserable. Fi dunya wa fil akhirah. They're losing, life. They're losing it. They're not looking at the right way as, let me just enjoy life as it is. I'm content. I have qana'ah. No, they are miserable. And sometimes, I tell you this, brothers and sisters, she possess more than the other person. They have more than the other person. They have a bigger, better, comfortable house, but they look at the other person, even though the other person has a smaller house. This is just an example. And they can't. Why he has this and I don't? They possess sometimes much more than the other person, but because of the nature, they can't see anyone being happy, even if they are the wealthiest of the wealthy, and they are the healthiest of the healthy. So shaqa, they are miserable in this life and in the next life. Thamaratul hasad shaqa dunya wal akhirah. The result of jealousy is misery in this world and the hereafter. Can a person say anything better than this? Any words can come out of the person's mouth better than the words that come out of Imam Ali ibn Talib's mouth? That what he says is beautiful and is 100% true. Thamaratul hasad shaqa'ud dunya wal akhirah. The result, the consequences of a person who is jealous is nothing except for misery in this world and the hereafter. Because they are not content. They're not happy with what they have. And they're always looking. They're always looking. In Farsi, we say chish to chishmi. They're always looking around. They don't look at what's on the table, what's right in front of them. Alhamdulillah, with what I have right in front of me. And we spoke about shukr. Shukr is that you have it right in front of you and you say, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allah gave me this and this is enough. That's all I need. And that is content. But when a person in front of him, he has gold, but his nature is to look around and he sees others having silver, he can't take it. He has gold right in front of him. He has the best right in front of him. He looks around right and left. He's miserable. ثمرة الحسد شقاء الدنيا والآخرة. The result of jealousy is misery in this world and the hereafter. انخفاض المنزلة وانحطاط المرتبة ونفور الناس من الحاسد. So, نفور الناس من الحاسد. When you see one of your brothers or sisters being envious, being jealous, what happens here is that you are looking at this individual and thinking to yourself, this person is always jealous. Why am I, in his presence? He's always talking at the other person. He's always not happy. He's always saying why they have it and I don't have it. نفور الناس من الحاسد. You try your best to avoid them. You try your best to avoid them because it's a disease. It might take you also. It might include you. You might be included in this disease, unfortunate disease. You'll be part of it, or you just avoid it at any cost. You say, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to have any chat with you. I don't want to be in your presence. Because whenever we sit down, you're thinking about other people, even though we have the best in our life. Whenever we go outside, you're thinking, oh, this guy, he went to someone better than this. Or we go to a restaurant or anything like that. Because this person, what's happening in their daily life, whatever happens in their life, they compare it with other people. If they go to a restaurant, for example, 5-star restaurant, they're having a meal, they think, oh, this person in some country, they're having it better than us. Or they go to a hotel, for example, to have a holiday. Well, this person had it better than me. Or he has a child. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him a child, gives her a child. He says, oh, the other person, child, his eyes are green and mine is not green. Mine is my child eyes is blue, for example. And he's not much of a attractive a child like the other ones are, of being beautiful and such. They always looking at in the surroundings. And what happens with that person? You don't want to be sitting with them. You don't want to have any connection with them because you see them, possessed by this. They are consumed by it. That they, at any chance they have, they address this. They never happy. They never smile. They never say, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I'm enjoying life as it is. Even if I have much less than anyone else, I can be the most happiest person ever. And what he's doing, he's not miserable. He's happy. They are happy. They're enjoying life as it is. And on top of all this, in addition to all this, they're looking at what is more important than this, and that is building the hereafter. Building the hereafter. They're not so much consumed by what's happening here that they forget about the hereafter and they want to destroy the other person and so on and so forth. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi afdalus salatu wassalam said, قال علي ibn Abi Talib alayhi afdalus salatu wassalam, the commander of the faithful, al-hasud la yasud, the envious will not reign supreme. That means he will not progress. He will not become a better person. If you want to have another translation of this, another definition of it, the al-hasud la yasud. Al-hasud la yasud. He will not reign supreme. They will never become better people. They will never see how they can address it in such a way that I can be also a better person. And that is what ghibta is. Ghibta is the opposite of hasad. Then you see others having it and you say, Alhamdulillah, they have it. May Allah increase their substance. May Allah increase the health and the wealth and so on and so forth. And may Allah give me some as well, because Allah is Arhamur Rahimin, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give everyone what they are seeking for. So this is انخفاض المنزلة وانحطاط المرتبة ونفور الناس من الحاسد. الضرر للنفس, harm and hurt himself. This hadith of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam sums it up in a perfect way. الحاسد مضر بنفسه قبل أن يضر بالمحسود. كإبليس أورث بحسده لنفسه اللعنة ولآدم عليه السلام الاشتباه. So if you look at what happened in the dawn of time, the old story, the oldest of the oldest stories, and when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam, Abu al-Bashar, our father, when he created Adam, وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها ثم عرضهم على الملائكة فقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين. So he created Adam, he created Eve, Hawa, and then Allah taught Adam the names. We recite this in Surah Al-Baqarah. He taught him the names, and the names were the names of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam, the five. Ahlul Kisa, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Amir al-Mu'mineen, فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها, سيد نساء العالمين, إمام الحسن المجتبى عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام, and Sayyid al-Shuhada Ba Abdullah al-Husayn. And then he brought Adam in front of the angels. And he asked him, he said to them, tell me of these names. We don't know. We don't know the names. So he asked Adam to say the names. After he said the names, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord, God the Almighty, he ordered for them to prostrate before Adam. They all did, except for, we know this, for Shaitan, Satan, or Satan. Satan, Iblis al-Abalisa, he said, no, خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. He became jealous that how could this be? This new creature was just made, and he's made of clay, and I'm made of fire. Yet I have to come and do what? Prostrate before him. خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. So Adam alayhi salatu wassalam was chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Shaitan, Iblis al-Abalisa. Shaitan, Iblis al-Abalisa, if you look at his history, he was named the peacock of the angels, Tawus al-Malaika. Tawus al-Malaika, the peacock of the angels. And you know what peacock is? Peacock is a beautiful bird. And the colors he has, why they called him the peacock of the angels, even though he's a jinn, because of the amount of prayer he used to pray. One sajda, the hadith says, of Shaitan, it took him 6,000 years. One sajda, one prostration. But here, he disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of his jealousy. No, I don't want to. Why? The ayah says, قال ما منعك ألا تسجد إذ أمرتك قال أنا خير منه خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. Allah said, what prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you? Shaitan said, I am better than him. You created me from fire and created him from clay. This is what many of the jealous people say. I'm better than him. I'm better than this person. So why he was chosen and I wasn't chosen? So here what he said was, he said, no, I will not prostrate before Adam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cursed him. Satan was cursed for his jealousy until the day of judgment. We have this problem with him, that we human beings, sons of Adam, we are in a battle, in war with Shaitan because of that jealousy. That number one event, that number one story, the old story, the oldest of the old story, is that he said, no, You created from me from fire and you created him from clay. So why am I doing this? Why am I prostrating before Adam? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was testing them that to see, are they going to obey or disobey? And that brings us to other topics that it's not just about worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's about obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's about obeying. Allah doesn't just want you to stand up and pray and pray and pray, yet you don't obey Him. You don't accept, for example, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib as your Imam, as Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam, as your Imams, and follow them. You have to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to obey Him. So therefore here, why you see that with this, Iblis al-Abalisa, who was known as Tawus al-Malaika, he's cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's casted away, he's thrown out from the kingdom, and yet on the other side you find what? You find Adam being chosen, and Adam is taken to paradise, and you know the rest of the story. So what did the Imam say, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, in this wonderful hadith? He said, Al-Hasid mudhur binafsihi qabla an yadhurra bil-mahsud. So what is happening here? He, the jealous person, what he's doing here, mudhur binafsihi, he's destroying himself before he's destroying others. كإبليس أورث بحسده لنفسه اللعنة, like Iblis al-Abalisa, Satan, that with what he did with Adam and disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أورث لنفسه اللعنة, he was cursed, اللعنة was put upon him, and Adam was chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, jealousy has deleterious effects on the nerves and heart of a person and makes him sick and weak. So sickness and weakness, this is what happens with Shaitan, and Shaitan loves to put that in the hearts of the mu'mineen because he sees this for him to be the greatest arsenal, great weapon. If you look in the book, the holy book, Quran al-Kareem, you find that we have many examples. One of them being Shaitan, Iblis al-Abalisa, alayhi la'anullah, and then you come to the story of Joseph. Yusuf alayhi salam, what happened to Yusuf? Yusuf, he had brothers that he looked up to, but because of jealousy, that what we see our father Abana, he's taking Yaqub, Jacob, he's taking him, he's kissing him, he's hugging him, he's showing more love to him, even though they were much older than Yusuf, much older than Joseph. They came to the point that what are we going to do with this brother of ours? We're going to take him to the desert and we're going to beat him up and kill him. So the hadith says when they took him out, and he was so happy, you know, Yusuf, but you see what jealousy does, brothers and sisters. When they were out of the town from Canaan, and he was riding the camel, he was so happy that I'm out with my brothers and we're going to have a great time, and they're going to look after me, as they said to Yaqub that we will look after him. What do you think, we're not going to look after him and the wolf will come and eat him, and so on and so forth? They brought him down and they started beating him. He started to smile. Yusuf smiled. They stopped. They said, how could you be smiling? That we are beating you, we are hurting you, and we are about to kill you. Yusuf said to them, one day I was sitting down and thinking, if one of the kids in the town comes and hurts me, who is going to defend me? Who is going to take care of me? Who is going to protect me? So for a moment I thought, I have brothers. They will take care of me. They will protect me. And yet I see you, that I was thinking the other day, you will protect me, you are hurting me. And I came now to the conclusion that Allah only helps me. Allah will only protect me. So jealousy, hasad, is so powerful that the sons of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam, Yaqub, Jacob, they beat their own brother to the brink of death, and they are about to kill him. That's what it is. It's a sickness. It is a disease. That they are the sons of a prophet, yet they can't see that their father loves one of the brothers more than them. And Yusuf is much younger than them. Now, this is what jealousy does, brothers and sisters. And we have this story in the Quran al-Kareem. Quran al-Kareem is a beautiful book, and inshallah, if you have more chance to read it, when you read it, look at every ayah with tama'un and look at the meanings of the ayat. What is the purpose of this ayah? What this ayah wants to teach me? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about a great arsenal that shaitan has, the weapon that shaitan possesses, and that is jealousy that can destroy a person's life to this point. Al-huzn wal-ham. Al-huzn wal-ham. What is huzn? What's ham? Huzn is sadness. They're always sad. قال أمير المؤمنين عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام ما رأيت ظالم أشبه بمظلوم من الحاسد. He's the oppressor of himself. He's a tyrant upon himself before anyone else. Before anyone else. Al-huzn wal-ham. He has that because of jealousy. ذهاب حسناته وغضب الله عليه. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم said, إياكم والحسد فإن الحسد يأكل الحسنات كما تأكل النار الحطب. Jealousy eats through good deeds like fire eats through wood. This is what jealousy does. It's through good deeds. And it's a spark, it's the key of other evil acts. The other evil acts, they come into place. If you look with the story again, with the story of Lawi and his brothers, the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam, what did they do? The good deeds are being wiped out one after the other. They're being eaten through them like the fire is through wood. Number one, they lied to their father, and lying is that haram or halal? Of course, haram. It's a sin, yes. So they lied to the father. They started beating an innocent child. Is that haram, halal or haram? Mustahab or makruh? Of course, haram. And it's not good to beat your own brother, yet alone beat him to the brink of death and then throw him into the well. So they are, what they do in the actions, their actions are wiping away the good deeds, and what's happening to them, they are being consumed by it. And it's a flame that it's burning them, burning their good deeds, taking away everything good they have in the position. When they came back to Yaqub, Jacob, and they claimed that Yusuf was eaten by a wolf, and he said to them, go get me a wolf, so on and so forth. He asked the wolf, and the wolf said, no, I don't eat a prophet or son of prophet. We don't do that. We, the wild beast, we don't consume prophets or the sons of prophet. It was forbidden upon us to do such a thing. So he said to them, go bring me back my son. They went there and they sold their brother. They saw a sayyara coming, a caravan coming, and then when they wanted some water from the well, they brought up Yusuf. And when they saw Yusuf, because Yusuf was beautiful, the most handsome created Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he created Yusuf to be the most handsome individual. So when they saw Yusuf, and it was like seeing the moon. So the brothers came and they saw there's a caravan there and Yusuf is among them. They came, okay, he's our servant. He's our servant. They didn't say he's our brother. Then sell him to us. Sell him to us. How could you throw your servant into the well? And they sold him for darahim ma'duda, for a bit of money. Again, going back to what Yusuf was thinking one day when he was looking in his reflection, he was looking at how beautiful he was. He was thinking, if I was a slave, how much would I be sold for? You know, what is my value? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to show him. He was sold for dirahim ma'duda, thamanin bakhs. They sold him for a couple of dirham, And the whole story, the journey of Yusuf started. So with the brothers, they lied. They committed a sin. They lied to the father for 35 years. 35 years. And he knows. He told them, I know he's alive. I know you harmed him. I know you threw him into the well. I know that he's not among the dead. He's still alive. But for 35 years, they are lying to the father. And this is what jealousy does. This is what jealousy does. It consumes you from within. So jealousy eats through good deeds like fire eats through wood. And this is the last of the slide. Brothers and sisters, this is our first lesson with the diseases of the soul. And inshallah, we cover the other ones, inshallah, in the next lessons. I will go through the questions and inshallah we conclude with the lesson today. I hope it was a topic that is a benefit to all of us. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. Brother Ali is asking, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam rahmatullah wa barakatuh. What is better way when having disputes with a person or groups? Leave the situation and wait until everyone is calm, for example, 4 days, or solve this in the same day. Brother Ali, we spoke about this. I don't know if you were in our lesson about anger. When you are angry, this is also for the brothers on Instagram, with their anger, it will not come to a right conclusion. It will not come to a right result. It's better for a person to calm down, think rationally. After they calm, they can come with better solutions, better and much healthier solutions. When a person is angry, you will say many things that you will regret later on. That is why one of the reasons that when a person is angry, he says, I divorced my wife, it's not counted because he's angry. And they say, look, if you are angry, there is a steps that he has to go through until that divorce, that talaq, is valid. But when a person is angry all the time and says, oh, I divorced you, or he says to his mother, well, I don't want to see you again, or he says that to his brother, I don't want, that's it, inqata' al-rahim, and so on and so forth, that is a person who says all the time these things, it doesn't count. And everyone knows that this person has this problem. And that is what is needed in a group dispute, in a group discussions, or one-on-one. It's better to sit down when you calm and speak. That's much, much more advisable than when a person is angry. When a person is angry, he's on fire. Just think of it like that. He's on fire, and he's jumping from one place to another, and that causes for them to really damage themselves and the people in their surroundings. So it's better to be calm than come to, inshallah, a good solution. One of the brothers or sisters saying, Salaamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. How can I cure the disease of pride in myself and fix the use of secular words in everyday life? Inshallah, we'll come to the topic of pride. Inshallah. Today's lesson was about jealousy and the problems that we face when we are jealous. So we will come to pride. I'd like to make this a series, if you don't mind, of the diseases of the soul. The diseases of the soul that are, unfortunately, there's a list of them that I'd like to cover, inshallah, and post them on YouTube for you and the other brothers to um, get the most out of them. So we do have doctors when it comes to the diseases of the physical body. Of course, for example, coronavirus. Now they're looking um, for the cure for it. And of course, we have the diseases of the soul. The disease of the soul is a huge issue um, that we, inshallah, we go through the list of them. I try my best to, inshallah, in our next lesson, we go to another one, disease of the soul, and they are all in the book. أخلاق الآداب الإسلامية, and inshallah from various types of resources we will continue with this lesson. Salaam alaikum wa alaikum assalam. How to remind myself that to stop YouTube? Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, brother Ali. The brother is asking, how can I remind myself to stop? You do hasad. No, change your thoughts. Always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what is called taqwa. Taqwa. When you are God conscious, when you have taqwa, you're pious, you will always remind yourself. Piety, brothers and sisters, is a key of success. If you are pious, if you have piety, the other things will fall into place. So this is why we have Shahr Ramadan al-Mubarak. We must be pious, and hasad and other diseases will not come to us. We are human beings. We have feelings. We have emotions. One of the emotions of a human being is hasad. The hadith says that everyone comes to that, hasad. Everyone will come across hasad. How to take care of hasad, how to address it. This is what we have a ghabta. Ghabta is way different than hasad. As we mentioned, hasad, that you have the intention to destroy the other person, and you have the feeling and you have the thoughts that I want the other person to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take away all what he has, because you can't be happy when you see other people happy. Ghabta, on the other hand, if you see someone who's wealthier than you, you say, may Allah increase his wealth. And that is something really hard for a person to say. May Allah increase his wealth. And you look at it and alhamdulillah, I have the greatest of the greats. May Allah increase mine and his. For a person to say that and truly mean it is really hard. It doesn't just come like that. You know, some people, they don't mean it. They just say it. So working on oneself and having taqwa. That's why we see in the ayah, when it talks about fasting, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. So the whole reason of this month, the holy month of Ramadan, is this, that we become pious. We have taqwa. Taqwa. That is the whole reason. It was decreed upon you. It was decreed upon the nations before you. What? Fasting. So you come to taqwa. Taqwa, that is the whole thing. It's not just I don't eat, I don't drink, I don't do the other acts, I break my fast, and then as soon as it's iftar time, I sit down, I eat, I drink, and then I sit down and watch many of the TV shows and so on and so forth. If you look at what's happening now, every holy month of Ramadan, that you see many of the TV channels, unfortunately, and mostly the Arabic ones, what they do is they launch a list of TV shows in the holy month of Ramadan. In the holy month of Ramadan, after iftar. So when you have an iftar, after that, if you're sitting down for some sweets, some tea, some coffee, you sit down and you watch one TV show after the other. And then the whole month of Ramadan just passes away and you haven't recited one ayah. You haven't recited one verse of the Holy Quran. So this is what is intended, that this person, Sahra, let him sit down and watch one thing after the other and forget about what is very important. So another question says, what about people who acquire things from wrong means? If we don't want them to have it, then that's not pushing Allah. You are questioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah chose him to have this. Allah chose this person to possess, to be in a position of something that you don't have. So when you say this, what you're doing here is you are questioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And with questioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala under the microscope, saying, why does he have it and I don't? There is a reason behind this. You might have it later. There is a delay because it's not in your best interest to have it now. And I'm talking in general. That is one of the reasons that you don't have it, because it's not right for you to have it now. You will have it and greater the other person, for example, wealth, but not now because you're not mature enough. That's one of the reasons. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing you. Don't forget this. That is the number two. That Allah is testing us. This life is not for eternity. The next life is for eternity. So when we come into this life, as the ayah said, we created you to test you. We created you to test you. That's why we have different types of people. One rich, one non-rich. If I sit down and sulk day and night why Bill Gates has more than $50 billion, am I going to live a normal life? Why Warren Buffett has more than me? Why this and this has more than me? I'm going to be, in depression, anxiety, crying day and night, and haven't done anything in my life because I'm sulking, I'm crying. Others are possessing something I don't have. So another question says, Salaamu alaykum wa alaykum as-salam. Surah Al-Duha, ayah 11 says, وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. Isn't we need to say what Allah has blessed us with? So this brother or sister saying Surah Al-Duha, ayah 11 says, وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. Isn't we need to say what Allah has blessed us with? So I don't know what you mean by that. Posting it online? No, Allah doesn't say that. بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ is that you say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. You remember Allah blessing. If you have a dispute in your house with your wife or your husband, you remember Allah blessing. And you say, Allah has given me that much, so why am I asking for more? Why am I fighting for more? Why am I doing this? Here you remember Allah's bounties that can bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not with the intention that, well, I want to post it online or talk about it in front of others. And we have a hadith in this matter, and inshallah we come across them, as Imam al-Sadiq says, in a beautiful narration. See how careful Ahlul Bayt are, brothers and sisters. Imam al-Sadiq says, when you see a person not having a child, don't speak about your child in front of them. What does that mean? See how sensitive Ahlul Bayt are when it comes across these many things. He says, Imam al-Sadiq, our sixth Imam says, when you see others that don't have a child, don't speak about what you have in front of them. Why? Because we don't know how they're going to feel. They're not going to just sit down and clap for you and say, MashaAllah, this person has that, such and such. From within, they might say, why does he have it and I don't? And I'm all deserving than him, more deserving than him. And yet this person has 3-4 children and I have only one and he's sick. So Imam al-Sadiq said this about child. He said, don't speak about your children in front of who doesn't have a child. This is one. Another hadith of Imam al-Sadiq again says, do not show your wealth in front of others. That means don't come and say, I have another, couple of brands in my bank account. I bought another house. I bought another car. Be more secretive. And this is what the hadith says of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salatu wasalam. Ustur dhahabaka wa dhihabaka wa madhabak. Ustur, conceal dhahabaka wa dhihabaka wa madhabak. Dhahabaka means what? Dhahabaka, your wealth. Ustur, conceal it. Don't show it to everyone. Not everyone is in your same position as you, if you have it. Dhahabaka wa dhihabaka, your goings and comings. Your goings and comings. Wa madhabak, and your religion. Religion, when it comes to a place that might harm you, that if you say, I'm a follower of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam. So Ahlul Bayt are very careful when they say these words. استر ذهبك وذهابك ومذهبك. What does it mean? You don't come and you want to have a media coverage of what you have possession of the wealth and the children and so on and so forth. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. That means remember Allah's blessing. You remember it. You say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. When you are in a gathering, if someone talks about you, his ni'mah, you say Alhamdulillah, my own ni'mah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allah has given every person different ni'am, different bounties. If some people are wealthy, some people are, less wealthy than the others. So we remember what you have. And we spoke about this in our 2 lessons that we had about shukr, that you remember the ones who are beneath you, not the ones who are above you. So وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ is not by sitting there and posting it online and so on and so forth. This is not what we do. Yes. Sister Lubna Batul says, is competition in academia healthy? Because oftentimes it leads to jealousy. Ghibta is different. Ghibta, we will cover it inshallah. Ghibta is the opposite of jealousy. Ghibta is that you say you wish others good and you wish yourself something good as well. So I made this clear many times. Inshallah, I'll make it clear more in the next class we have with about ghibta, that you say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I have it, he has it also. Jealousy is that I don't want him to progress. I don't want him to succeed. I want him to fail in this test, and I want to, and that is a feeling that it might come across you. So here you have to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to overcome it. So don't let it lead to jealousy, but let it be ghibta, that I want to have more than they have. And inshallah, Allah increases their health and wealth and knowledge and so on and so forth. Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. This brother or sister says, I hope that this will be answered, but wanted to just to ask, just in case. Brothers and sisters, before I answer this question, I do miss a bit of questions. I do apologize, and I spoke with another teacher of this pre-Hawza classes. It's because of the timing. The timing is not in our favor. We can't go for 2 hours because you have your own things, I have my own things. So if I miss a question here or there, please accept my apologies. So this brother or sister says that, what can you do if you see some of these attributes in yourself, especially with the influence of social media? Avoid it. Avoid it. There is a TED talk. I don't know if you listen to TED talk. There are beautiful lectures there talking about social media. And because social media is not from the Islamic perspective only that is they're problematic. Social media can be good. There are positive side for social media, and of course the negative side. The positive side is this right now, what we're doing right now, the pre-Hawza classes. If you want to listen to a lecture in your language, Farsi, Arabic, English, or Urdu, any other lecture, you can go on social media. You can look for different lectures. You can find them. This is the beauty side of it, that you can increase your knowledge. You can get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what social media does. But the dark side of social media, the dark side of it, it must be avoided, because if it's triggered, you have the problem to go in more depth into it. You go into more looking at different types of pages, following such and such, and you want them to have a look at you, and you want to have a look at them, and then this leads to more problems in the future, in the near future. So if you look at this lecture, TED Talk, they talk about social media and how to avoid it. Not just that, how to avoid a phone, how to avoid your phone for a day. And now, not a day, many people that can't take a whole day without their phone or their tablets or their computer for 1 hour. Because what's happening now in our lives, is that when we wake up, the first thing we do, we look at the phone. What happened during the time I was asleep? Before we sleep, the last thing we do, we look at the phone. Every 2 seconds we look at the phone. What's new? What's new? What's new? So it's some kind of a habit, and more than that, it's some kind of addiction that we have, that we want to always be updated. So social media has this negative part, and of course has this positive part. The negative side of it must be avoided at any cost. That you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is this going to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for me to look at this, websites, or these groups, or these different types of pages? No. Then I avoid them. This is what taqwa is. Taqwa is also part of that. Taqwa is the foundation of it. If you look at it, it's an umbrella or the foundation of this. That if you put taqwa into place, you're not gonna go into different social media pages and then go different. From Instagram, you jump on Facebook. From Facebook, you jump on TikTok, and many of them that are really a waste of time. It's better for a person not even have an account with any of this. Looking for the best way to avoid this with other more important things. If you look at what's happening in our life today, there are much more important things in our life. Reciting Quran Kareem, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Ahl-Bayt. So, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. Sister Fatima Al-Taif, I think, says صباح الخير صباح الخير. ماذا نفعل لكي نقي أنفسنا من الحسد? We spoke about this, that how can we avoid it? Content is number one. Content, qana'a. Qana'a, we'll speak about, inshallah, this topic one of the days. Qana'a is that you have content of what you have, what you possess. If I have content of having, for example, this whiteboard marker, I say this is mine, and alhamdulillah, Allah gave this to me. There are two different types of people. One says, why did Allah give me this, and He gave him better than mine, and so on and so forth. He goes into jealousy. May Allah take it from him and give me, only me, the position of this. And this leads to problems. Content is that qana'a you have. You say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose me to have this, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me this bounty, this ni'mah, and I'm happy with it. So content is one of them. Number two that we mentioned, brothers and sisters, now in our lesson, we mentioned the consequences of jealousy. The consequences of jealousy. Jealousy has consequences, and we listed 7 of them. Are they good or are they bad? Definitely they are bad. If they are bad, am I going to jump into something that is so bad that the Quran, Ahl al-Bayt, alayhim afdalus salatu wassalam, they mention? Shaitan, the whole problem that we are facing today, and the reason we are on this earth, is that Shaitan, he refused to bow down before Adam, and he was jealous of what Adam had and he didn't have, and so on and so forth. So we've seen all the consequences of jealousy and the problems that it causes. It's better for a person not to go after this. It's like someone who wants to invest. They tell him, if you invest in this company, there is a 99% chance it will fail. He will not invest it. Same thing, if a person sees the consequences of these problems, of these issues, of these emotions, it's better for him to avoid them as at any moment that come across. Another brother or sister says, could you remind the title of the book? Yeah, Akhlaq wal Adab al-Islamiyya. Another question, there are more similar questions. How can we solve the disease of jealousy? We spoke about that. It takes time, brothers and sisters. It takes time. We're not going to solve it in a blink of eye. It's not something that you have it on the computer that you can delete and then it goes away. No, it takes time. It's the nafs, how we are brought up. It's our nature. Um, our thinking, our perspectives, our likes and our dislikes. It's how we teach ourselves. It's how we are mature now. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. If you see how a child fights with another child, that's why I chose the first picture. If you look at it, the first picture was a child looking at another child. He has gifts I don't have. Uh, if you look at it as being, it's not worth me going through all these problems. Whatever it is, in the end, I'm gonna die, she's gonna die, he's gonna die. We look at the reality of this life in general. That this life is not worth that much of me thinking about it, investing in it, in this life. In the next life, I invest more than I invest in this life, of course. It doesn't mean that I don't go to work, I don't do any of that. Of course, we have to work, we have to do all of that. But thinking ill of the others and then being consumed with all the problems and the issues, and then forgetting of what is important, this is the part that we have to avoid. So another way of solving the disease of jealousy is this, that we look at the reality of life. If you go to the cemetery and you see the different graves, and there are, for people, they had wealth and others that didn't have wealth. And that's why Imam Ali ibn Talib said to his companions, can you tell the difference between these two graves? They said, no, we can't. He said, one of them belonged to a king and the other one belonged to a slave. But the grave is a grave. Here he's buried, and right next to him, his slave is buried. His own slave is buried. So we all got to end up 6 feet under. So does it need that much of me thinking about it and going into, this emotional roller coaster going up and down? No. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. May Allah lengthen your life. May Allah lengthen your life as well. If you pray a lot but do not obey Allah, is there a chance of the courage to fall upon you? Obedience is, I don't know if the other scholars that are covering this, obedience is the issue that we must address. That if you don't have it, Allah wants you to be obedient to Him. You obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't mean I don't pray. I pray and I obey Allah. Allah chose Imam Ali as my Imam. Do I obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or I disobey Allah? I give you this example. Why? Because we are getting closer to the martyrdom of Imam Ali ibn Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. When we come closer to those nights, I covered last year in one of my lectures, and I spoke about this hadith that a person comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and he says to the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, is this from you or from God? What? Well, you told us to pray, we are praying. You told us to fast, we are fasting. Look at the way this person is thinking. You told us to fast, we are fasting. You told us to pay zakat, we are paying zakat. You told us to go to Hajj, to pilgrimage, we're going. Yeah, that wasn't enough for you. That wasn't enough for you. And yet, today you came and you told us your cousin is our leader after your death. He will succeed you after your death. Is this from you or from God? The thinking is this, that you told us to pray, we are praying, we are fasting, we're doing all these sort of things. So how come now you brought your cousin Ali ibn Abi Talib to be our leader, your successor? So what is the idea here is that I'm not obeying everything Allah says. Is this from you or from God? I'm choosing, I'm picking, I'm taking one into consideration. I am following what Allah says because it's in my best interest. I fancy it, and another I don't. I don't know if you get the picture here. So Imam Ali, many people, they disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah chose Amir al-Mu'mineen to be the Imam, yet they disobeyed it. They said, no, we do not follow him because we don't want to. Same thing happened to Shaitan. Allah chose Adam. Adam, Abu al-Bashar. There's a whole new line of creatures coming out, you know, line of makhluqat. And there are Adam, you know, their father, human beings, Bashar. He didn't fancy. Why? I'm praying all this time. So he disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is very important, that we obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Obedience is the important part of it. Allah tells us to fast during the holy month of Ramadan. We fast the holy month of Ramadan. Allah tells us to fast from sunrise to sunset. We fast from sunrise to sunset. Now I want to say, no, I'm not going to fast from sunrise to sunset. I'm going to fast from sunrise to midnight. No, Allah told us to fast for that time. It's not our choice to make. It's we obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands. We obey the Prophet's commands. We obey the Imam's commands. That is how we progress in life. Another question says, okay, this is about anger. Brother Ali As-Sa'adi says, what are some ways, tactics we can use if we get angry a lot? We covered this in our anger management class. Please, brother, go look at the YouTube video of that, the lesson we covered. I do apologize. We don't have that much time to cover all of them. I'd love to answer all of your questions, believe me, but there are many of them, and I want to give a haqq to the questions. I don't want to just read them and go through them fast. I want to give them the right amount of time. So, Brother Ali, please go look at the video. We spoke about anger management, or how to overcome it quickly. Count to 10, as some say. Perform wudu. If you are angry, change the place you are. Go out. Don't sit down in somewhere you are angry. And this happens many times when a person is married. I say that because we are in a lockdown. You become angry with your wife, or she becomes angry with you. It's better to get out of that place, of that room, of that house. Go out. I'm sure you can do that. We're not in that much of a lockdown that we can't go out for a walk. Go out and walk for 5 minutes, and when you come back, you are all calm, she's calm, you are calm, and that's it. You have to change where you are. You can't just stand there and just take in more and more and more, and then bring out the dark side of yourself. And of course, do wudu. Wudu brings you down, because it's a fire, as we mentioned in our class or anger management. Anger is a fire. Either you turn it off, or you add more fuel to it. You add more fuel to it. You have to calm everyone down, calm yourself down, count to 10. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Imam Ali ibn Talib alayhi salatu wassalam said to Malik al-Ashtar, whenever you become angry, look at the sky. Why? He said, look at the sky. So you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, magnificent sky, and Allah is greater than you. Yet why are you angry? For a moment, look at the sky and reflect, and remind yourself that I am not in a position to become angry every single day. We spoke about anger before. It's a problem. I know that it's one of the issues that we face. We must look at the tactics. We discussed them in our anger management class, Brother Ali. One of the questions says, how do we protect ourselves or yourself from a jealous person living in an extended family environment? What are some things we can recite to protect ourselves from that? قل أعوذ برب الناس, one of them, Surah Al-Nas, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, قل أعوذ برب الناس, ملك الناس, إله الناس, من شر الوسواس الخناس, الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. Another, the ayat, the qalaqil, من شر حاسد إذا حسد. The qalaqil, they recite the قل هو الله أحد, Surah Al-Ikhlas. قل يا أيها الكافرون, قل أعوذ برب الناس, قل أعوذ برب الفلق. These four, whenever you recite them, that protects you from the ayn, or the jealous person. And it's better not to um, show it to the world. The more you show, the more problems you have. The more eyes that are looking at you. Uh, Nowadays, you don't have to go open the door to show to people. By touch of a button, you show it to the world that I have in my position such and such, and that is problematic. Okay, one of the brothers and sisters says, "Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam." Nowadays, we primarily see in a lot of cultures, especially in the Arab culture, ways to prevent or get rid of hasad, such as wearing an evil eye necklace. Is this a valid way of thinking? Well, the evil eye necklace, the blue and the eye right in the center of it, this is actually something that Rasulullah didn't like. Uh, we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a book called Iksir al-Da'awat. This Iksir al-Da'awat has many of the hadith about how to avoid hasad. Ayatul Kursi, it will take away the evil eye from your house. But that it's Arab culture. It was in a time of Jahiliyyah that eye and the blue. Rasulullah didn't like it. Rasulullah wasn't a fan of it. So if Rasulullah didn't like it, of course we don't go after this. Ayatul Kursi, qalaqil. We have ad'iyah that you recite, for example, Ziyarat Ashura that you recite for Imam al-Hussein, Sayyid al-Shuhada, that protects you from evil eye. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. Okay, this is a good question. Sayyid, is it still considered hasad when I just feel like something is unfair? I think the brother wanted to write. For example, when I and someone do the exact same thing, but things I just seem to always work for in their benefit, while we feel like the world is working against us. I don't wish for that blessing to be taken away from them, but do feel hurt when they get a great accomplishment. I'm sure it's not solely her work. Whereas I don't get anything. We spoke about this. Is that the question here is that I see others, they succeed, yet I don't. And that is problematic because I look, okay, she have this, what I don't. We spoke about that. Content is number one. Number two, remind ourselves we are being tested. This is another test. It's either I come out of it with succession, I come out with with a good result, or I don't. Now I ask this question, brothers and sisters, and I conclude with this. If a person really goes into tantrum and he becomes jealous, and what is the result of it? And now I'm gonna sit down and sulk. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be really, really upset. What is going to be happening? Is anything good gonna happen? No. If it's anything good, well, everyone should be, envious of others. Everyone should be jealous of one another. If I see another person becoming, they're succeeding in life, this is how life is. You see others, they succeed, others fail. Look at the one who is failing. This is what the hadith said. The hadith said, when we talked about shukr, if you remember, brothers and sisters, we said, the Prophet ﷺ says in his hadith, look at the one who is beneath you. Do not look at the one who is above you. Now you see a person who's really successful, even though he's younger than you, he has a house, he has children, yet you don't have any of that. Look at the one who's beneath you. Don't look at the one who's above you. Never look at the one, because whenever you look at the person who's above you, you're always going to have that feeling that why I don't have it and he has it, why I don't have it and she has it. So this is what the hadith says. How can we overcome these, brothers and sisters? Is that we must, brothers and sisters, always look at the hadith of Ahlul Bayt. They address this all the time, all of this, that we have to look at what Ahlul Bayt have alayhim salatu wassalam. When you look at the one who is beneath you, you're not going to have a problem in your life, because you're always going to say, Alhamdulillah, whatever I have. Yes, I know that I was not successful in this business or so and so, but Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I am successful in other parts of my life. I conclude with these, brothers and sisters. We conclude with Dua al-Faraj for Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. Ajallah Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif for his hastening reappearance. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma kulli waliyika al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. Salawatuka alayhi wa ala aba'ih. في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا يا رب الحسين بحق الحسين اشفي صدر الحسين بظهور الحجة. Brothers and sisters, don't forget me in your dua, and inshallah I see you on Saturday, my Sunday. Inshallah, I ask all of you to recite as much as dua you can for me and for the brothers and the sisters around the world. And of course, don't forget to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the reappearance, the hasty reappearance of Imam Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman. هذا والحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة والسلام على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.